Hey everybody. So if you're viewing this right before Valentine's Day or during it, this is a great opportunity for you. I did a video similar to this last year. This video is all about some current recommendations I have for great films to watch for Valentine's Day. Like I said, I did film a video previous, just like this one, the previous year. So if you've seen that one, it's somewhat of a rerun of that. But I have some new titles this year that might um, spark some love this year for Valentine's Day, if you want to call it that. So, like I said, this video will be either posted the day before Valentine's Day or during Valentine's Day. Probably before it though, just to give you some time if you really want to track these films down to watch with your loved one for Valentine's Day. I really hope this video is a great opportunity for you to kind of, get some ideas for Valentine's Day, I guess, as far as films go. So this film I talked about, I think, in the last year's Valentine's Day video. It's Hitch with Will Smith. A really good film. I think why I keep on recommending this one is just because it's one of the first romance films that I think I've experienced where the guys like it just as much as the girls, because you get the chick flicks, you get the just the guy movies, but this one has a good balance of both. Eva Mendes and Will Smith are strong enough leads in here where the guy and the girl can both relate to the film. Um, just a really neat idea, just the idea of a love doctor kind of getting the taste of his own medicine, kind of falling into the same problems that his clients run into. He's a consultant in real life. So just a really neat film. If you're really looking for a good film with Will Smith to watch on Valentine's Day, Hitch is definitely that film. The next one I believe I haven't talked about before because I've seen it recently, and just a really good film, and I can see why a lot of people consider it a classic, is Lost in Translation. Though it's not exactly a romance film, there's a twist near the end, I'll just say, that kind of, and it's not even a twist, it's kind of a direction it goes in that kind of asks the question if you think these two characters are in love. Um, Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson are in this. Basically, if you don't know what it is, really, really quick synopsis because I actually did review this film. So if you haven't seen that review, I believe it is on both Facebook and YouTube, so you can check it out there. But basically, Bill Murray is a actor and he's in Japan, and he has a lot of downtime. And Scarlett Johansson is the wife of a photographer that has a lot of work going on in Japan. And so the two eventually notice that they're in the same hotel, that they're going to the same places a lot. And so basically, they form this really close friendship with each other. And near the end of the story, you begin to question: are they close friends? Are they in love? Do they not know? But basically, it's a good it's a good guy girl buddy flick. And even if for Valentine's Day, if you're spending time with somebody, that's just a close friend, someone that just happens to be the opposite sex. Um, Lost in Translation is a good film either way. It's a good film for if you're cuddling up with your loved one, or it's a good choice if you're just watching with a female friend of yours or just a close friend of yours. Um, so Lost in Translation is another great film to check out if you haven't seen that one yet for Valentine's Day or really any time of the year for that one, since it's kind of more of a buddy flick, I guess. One that I know I didn't talk about last year, and I definitely would have talked about it if it was already out by then, but it came out in 2012, several months after the Valentine's Day video of last year. It was Ruby Sparks with Paul Dano and Zoe Kazan and Antonio Banderas and Annette Bening, and just a lot of people were involved with this one. Steve Coogan was involved with this one too. Um, Really good film, you guys. This author, he has writer's block, and he always hates his ideas and is looking for a good story to write. But his therapist kind of recommends write about anything, and so he's always having these dreams about this girl, and he keeps on writing about her. He kind of gets obsessed with writing this girl for a while, and he gets so obsessed with her that one morning he actually wakes up next to her, and at first he thinks he's imagining it, that he just kind of getting really obsessed with the story, and that he really thinks this person's there for a while. But after a while, he starts to notice that other people are noticing this girl too and can interact with her and everything else. And so it's truly a miracle. This girl truly appeared out of thin air, and he's having this relationship with her the way he was when he was writing the story about her. Really neat story, you guys. It definitely has a kind of a Charlie Kaufman adaptation, Spike Jonze, if that makes any sense, feel to it. Just kind of, the audience being really involved with the storyline. Where kind of, it pokes fun of the fact that it's aware that it's, this it's kind of this story in itself kind of thing. And in certain parts, not a lot of parts though. Just a really, really good romance film. A lot of just really cute, really adorable, really effective romance in this film. Definitely a great film to check out for Valentine's Day if you haven't seen it yet. It's called Ruby Sparks, and the same people who worked on Little Miss Sunshine worked on it, and just a really good film. In fact, Zoe Kazan, who plays Ruby Sparks in the movie, um, she was also one of the writers of the story. So right there, you already have someone that's very involved with the story, and she did a great job. So um, the next one I may or may not have talked about before. It's actually a Coen Brothers film. It's called Intolerable Cruelty. And what's kind of unique about this film, you guys, it's what I like to call an unlikely romance film. The film Out of Sight is kind of like this too, in the way where they took a man and a woman who are on the complete opposite side of the spectrum on something, and they fall in love at some point in the story. Basically, it's a story where George Clooney plays this lawyer, the kind of the go-to lawyer, and he's battling a woman in court played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. And it's one of those things where they kind of secretly like each other, but they know they can't like each other because they're battling in court. They have this huge case going on, and they know in the back of their mind that they just can't do it. That they got to rely on the kind of the present situation. They got to focus on their career, the present situation of the case going on with the two of them. And so basically, they have this one night stand with each other, and it just becomes a complete laugh out loud comedy at that point. Um, just a great unlikely romance film. It's definitely if you're looking for a unique romance film for Valentine's Day, it's definitely a unique one. The Coen Brothers have such unique films to begin with. And like what one critic said on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a romance comedy that has a brain, and it really does have a brain. It does have a lot of things to it where you can definitely tell the Coens really took their time with it and really said to themselves, what makes a good romance comedy? What could we do uniquely with it? Just a lot of really unique things they did with it. Um, I think it's I think it is Cedric the Entertainer who plays this character, but he plays a paparazzi guy that is always busting in on famous celebrities who are trying to have those little relationships going on in between their fame, and just a lot of lines in here and a lot of things that he does in the film is really, really effective, I thought. So if you haven't seen Intolerable Cruelty, that's another good romance film to check out. But be warned though, it does have a very unique sense of humor. So I understand that's not for everybody, but it's definitely a really good romance film, I think. Next one I may or may not have talked about last year. It's Midnight in Paris. Huge 2011 film. It was nominated for Best Picture. Woody Allen, I think his screenplay won for this one. Really great film. I love Marion Cotillard. She's definitely very good in this one. Her and Owen Wilson, they kind of have this secret relationship going on in this one. Owen Wilson is a screenplay writer who is he's out in Paris with his fiance, and he's still thinking about stories. He likes to walk around these really beautiful places to help him come up with ideas for his stories, and Rachel McAdams plays his fiance in this, and she just kind of wants to go out and adventure through Paris and do the things that normal people would do in Paris. But Owen Wilson really insists that he really wants to walk around in the beautiful parts of Paris, especially at night when it rains, because that to him is like the most ideal way to experience Paris. And he ends up falling for this woman that also was one of Picasso's girlfriends at one point, I believe, and she's played by Marion Cotillard. And there's also kind of this. I don't want to say too much about it because it might ruin the film for those who still want to see this one. But Leah Sadix plays a woman in the real world, kind of the woman this woman the Owen Wilson can see during the day. He doesn't have to be at night in this certain place to see like the Marion Cotillard character. And basically there's a twist involving her that I don't want to talk about too much. So basically, Owen Wilson doesn't know where his life is going in this one, and he plays a screenplay writer. Like I said, that really gets all these ideas just by walking around in beautiful places in Paris. Just a really well done film. I think it's one of Woody Allen's better films. Also, I know I didn't talk about this one because this one's very recent. It's also nominated for Best Picture right now. Also, Silver Linings Playbook, really good film. Another really unique romance film for certain. Definitely a lot of. I think it's one of the first films that I think gets mental illness right with a film. There's a lot of films where you see like people trying to be mentally ill, and it's just like, oh, that's just stupid and stuff. But this one really had some effective mentally ill people in it, and the romance was very good. I loved how Jennifer Lawrence really wanted to help out Bradley Cooper in this one, and there was scenes in here where Bradley Cooper really wanted to help her character out a lot. Just a really well done romance film. The dance scenes in here are very good, and I normally don't like um, like ballet films that much, but this one had some really unique ballet scenes in here, like when they're practicing, when they're in the actual show. Just a really well done romance film. I don't want to explain that one too much just because it's brand new still. It's nominated for Best Picture, so a lot of people are probably going to go see that one. But that's another idea too. It's in the movie theater still, I think. Um, Really good film to check out. Make sure you check that one out for sure too. So that was my recommendations, you guys. I had 6 of them this year. Like I said, some of these I know I talked about in the past, but films like Ruby Sparks and Midnight in Paris and Silver Linings Playbook, I really wanted to talk about those ones again just because, there's just so many unique things about them. Um, so I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day, and hopefully one of these films is going to be one of the films that you check out with your loved one this year.